Hi, hello, and welcome everyone! Today we've got another Planetary Systems devlog for you, and in this episode we're specifically talking about the concept art. There's quite a bit that goes into the pre-production of a game, and getting a good understanding of what the game will look like is just absolutely crucial. So like I said, this video is dedicated to taking a closer look at some of the concept art we've been producing. And since a lot of our concept art is based on our mood board, there's going to be lots of familiar imagery from last week's devlog, but it goes more into depth of what our specific vision is for it. First off, I kind of just want to talk about the importance of concept art. If you didn't already know, Paper Turtle Studio is run by just two people, myself and Gabe, and we're both taking on concept art and pacing it out through the development. If you Google concept art, Wikipedia defines it as a form of illustration used to convey an idea for use in films, video games, animation, comic books, or other media before it's put into the final product. Concept art is developed through several iterations. Multiple solutions are explored before settling on the final decision. So, pretty simple, right? It's some kind of illustration or drawing, and the purpose is to convey an idea, though concept art itself usually goes through several iterations to come up with a defined idea of exactly what you want it to look like. Several iterations I think is super crucial in concept art because it lets you think outside of the box. You know, you might have one initial idea for how something might look, but if you play around with different details and colors, suddenly you have a bunch of different iterations of this one thing, and you may decide that your first idea wasn't the best idea for what your project is. And so that's like one of the just crucial things about concept art. And this just also allows you to explore the multiple solutions. You know, you get to see what works, what doesn't work, and maybe you learn things through the concept art that you want to carry over into your overall design. So that is why concept art itself is so important. So alright then, I want to show you some of our concept art for Planetary Systems. Now you might have seen this already if you follow us on social media. This is one of the first space concepts that Gabe did. And here's a second concept of space itself. This one has a couple different planets. You can see a galaxy off in the distance. There's a space station on the bottom right hand corner of this image. There's a comet, or is that an asteroid? I think it's an asteroid. and just stars and galaxies, and it's all beautiful, you know? And here's a yellow star. It's got like solar flares coming off of it. Looks pretty intimidating and fiery and dangerous, which it is, so that's doing that job. And here's another type of star. And here's another one. This one's blue and glowy, and it looks really cool. Alright, now this is a nebula star. This thing is so dangerous. Yeah, you want to avoid these thingies here, because that's just like gas and energy just shooting out from the actual object. And here we have a black hole. All of that like yellow stuff surrounding it is just all the energy particles just being sucked in by the black hole. And here's another one. Similar idea, kind of fades out. And here we have a galaxy. So we live in the Milky Way galaxy. This is just another galaxy you might see from a distance. And here's one of the first planets that Gabe designed. It's got like cloud coverage, it's got an interesting color of land. It's really cool. So yeah, this is a good like example. example of how the planets aren't going to all look like Earth or like the planets in our solar system. You know, planets can actually look really interesting and crazy and wild. Here's another planet. This one looks like maybe it's made of like lava and rocks. Very cool, very cool. Here's another one. You might think, oh, Saturn. Well, maybe. It's got rings. It's got rings and looks like some fiery surface. And here's one of the moons that Gabe designed. It kind of looks like there's cracks running through it and pockets of depth and stuff like that. This one's really cool. And here's another one. A little bit more jagged. Here's another planet that might be, you know, maybe more swampy or... I don't know, it's just kind of got that nice puke green color to it. Very inviting. And now here we have a comet that is, you know, kind of going across space, across the sky. And we have an asteroid. A little lumpy rock with some craters in it. Nothing too special about it. We'll have some asteroids floating around. And actually, this is kind of going to be one of the goofier bits. We've been talking pretty sciencey lately, but this is going to be a little bit of goofiness. I think anything that Gabe and I make is going to be a little goofy because we're a little goofy. So this is just a straight up arrow pointing to where the next sector is on a pole on an asteroid. Like it's just going to be hanging out. It may be hard to find this. Like you gotta, you know, explore of course in the game. But when you find this sign, it'll be really nice. It'll just be pointing to you where you need to go next. And now this is one of the space stations. It looks like Gabe added some insignia on it. I didn't even notice that till, or what it says, SS-23. So yeah, I love the look of this space station. I love how it's very clearly built from like a bunch of metal panels and then spray painted or painted in a way to be identifiable or for whatever reason, you know. And it's got little lights on the ends, so this thing's super sick. I'm really excited to like work on these designs more. So this is the inside of what the space station could look like. It's got different colors and nice big windows you can see out into space, which I really like about space station design. There's been a couple TV shows I've seen where they're in like some sort of spaceship or space station, and I think the coolest part is being able to see outside and watch, you know, the stars kind of just fly past as you're flying. And here's another one. There's a store here on the corner because you're gonna be able to, like I said, trade with people, and there's gonna be like a bot that also offers trading options. So that's kind of what's being concepted here, is what the inside hallways of this space station might appear. Now, if you follow any of our social medias or notice that we watch our streams on Twitch, you might have seen me making the player character model. And this was one of the first concepts. Now this is kind of going into the iteration idea. At first I was kind of in a creative block and couldn't come up with any good designs in my head. So I asked Gabe to do one, and he did this wonderful, amazing design, and that was able to spark my creativity, and I was able to make this design. So now we have got two pretty different designs, but we can take ideas from both of them and use them in our final product, you know, our final character model. Now moving on to the spaceship, which might be one of the coolest things in this game. You will get the chance to fly around space, as we've said before. And this is kind of going to be how you do it. This is the third-person view of the spaceship when you're flying in it. Again, the camera and stuff will be adjusted. This is just the concept of the spaceship from this perspective. And this is the first-person view of the spaceship. So when you're flying through space, this is kind of going to be what you're seeing. This is another perspective of the spaceship, but from a kind of landed position. Now we're getting into the Zipcom. The Zipcom is going to be a device that the player character wears on their right wrist. It's kind of going to be the main communication device for the player, and you'll see more about it. It's a pretty crucial component to the game. But as you can see, this is kind of like the first sketch of it. And then here's it a little bit more of a close-up. This thing, I didn't draw on the arm here, but you can kind of imagine it would be on your wrist, kind of like a watch, but like a really big watch. And it's going to have your stats, your maps, and your inventory. So a few of those types of things. And in one of our streams, if you caught it, I designed the UI for this. So we're kind of just going to flash through those screens and you'll get to see what each of the little tabs here are kind of going to look like. This is meant to be the loading screen for the Zipcom device. Alright, so we've been talking about like being on planets a lot, and we haven't really shown what that might look like. So in this game, you're gonna kind of start off on your first home planet, your first base, and this is what that home base is meant to look like on that planet. It's kind of just one simple building where you have just some bare necessities, and you can see there's going to be a sleeping area on the inside. That's what this lower left hand like image is kind of be like an inside insert. But it's supposed to be just kind of like made out of metal panels. Looks pretty simple. It's just got some nice little glowy lights. Nothing too spectacular, very basic. These are two different items that'll be at your home base and likely in many other parts of the universe as you discover other planets. So this first one here is actually a craft bot. So the idea is that like there's this blueprint screen on the top, and that's where you can kind of do your crafting. And now the second thing but this thing is the like buying and selling bot. I don't think we have a name for it yet. If we do, I'm forgetting at the moment, but this is kind of where you will buy, sell, and trade items. All of the concept art that I have to show for you for now. We're a couple, but today was about showing you the concepts that we have so far and the ideas that we have that we're trying to get into this game. And once again, I just would like to thank our Patreon supporter, Giorgio. Thanks so much for continuing to support us on Patreon. And if anybody else would like to become a Patreon supporter, we've got 4 different tiers, ranging from really cheap to still kind of cheap. So if you want to go support us, we're at patreon.com/paperterrorstudio. We'll feature you in all our devlogs and our weekly bulletins. You get a bunch of exclusive content, extra devlogs every week. It's actually pretty dope. So if you... Alright folks, thanks so much for watching. If you don't already, our social medias are all linked below in the description. You can check them out if you want. We stream 3 times a week over on Twitch, so you can check out our Twitch as well. We have Instagram, we have Twitter, and we have Patreon, and we have YouTube, of course. So if you like this video, go ahead and leave it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, why don't you subscribe? I think it's pretty easy. You just hit a button and you don't have to pay anything. It's very easy. And you get to see our videos when they come out. We post every Sunday, these devlogs. So we'll see you next week.